Let me tell you something straight up. If you want to win 2026, you don't need a new year, a new phone, or a new set of people around you. What you really need is to remove a few habits that have been quietly robbing you of your future. Success is not complicated, but it does require honesty. And tonight, I'm going to be honest with you. The first habit you've got to remove is procrastination. That habit right there has buried more dreams than fear ever did. Procrastination is dangerous because it dresses up like patience. It tells you you can do it tomorrow, but tomorrow is not promised to anybody. Every time you delay what you already know you should be doing, you are voting against your own success. You don't need more time. You need to start. Start messy. Start scared. Start tired. But start anyway. Winners don't wait for the perfect moment. They move, and the moment becomes perfect because they moved. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about one habit that has quietly destroyed more dreams, more futures, more potential than failure ever could, and that habit is procrastination. Procrastination doesn't announce itself as something bad. It doesn't walk into your life wearing a warning sign. It comes in smooth. It sounds reasonable. It tells you, you've got time. It tells you you're tired right now. It tells you, wait until things are better. And while you're listening to that voice, life is moving on without you. See, procrastination is dangerous because it steals from you in small amounts. It doesn't take everything at once. It takes a day here, a week there, a year before you even realize what happened. One day you wake up and you're older. The opportunity passed, the moment gone, and you're standing there asking yourself, how did I get here? You didn't get there overnight. You got there one delay at a time. Most people are not stuck because they don't know what to do. Let's be real. You already know what you should be doing. You know you should wake up earlier. You know you should work on that skill. You know you should start that business, apply for that job, leave that toxic situation, take better care of your health. The problem isn't knowledge. The problem is delay. You keep pushing your future back like it's going to wait on you. It won't. Procrastination feeds on fear. Fear of failing. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of what people will say. Fear of getting it wrong. But let me tell you something important. Failure won't destroy you. Not trying will. Every successful person you admire failed at something. What separates them from everyone else is they didn't let fear stop them from starting. They moved before they felt ready. They moved while they were scared. They moved while they were unsure. And movement changed everything. You don't need confidence to begin. Confidence comes after action. You don't need clarity to begin. Clarity comes after movement. Some of you are waiting to feel ready, and readiness is not coming. You become ready by doing. You grow into the person you need to be by stepping into discomfort. Comfort is where procrastination lives. Growth lives on the other side of action. Another lie procrastination tells you is that tomorrow will be easier. Tomorrow is not easier. Tomorrow comes with its own problems, its own fatigue, its own excuses. The best time to act is when the idea hits you, when the fire is there, when your heart is pulling you forward. Every time you ignore that pull, it gets quieter. Not because it's gone, but because you trained yourself not to listen. Time is the most expensive thing you own, and procrastination wastes it like it's cheap. Money can be replaced. Opportunities sometimes come back. Time never does. Every day you delay is a day you can't get back. And one day you will wish you had started when you first thought about it. Let me be clear with you. You don't have to do everything today. But you must do something today. Progress beats perfection every single time. Small steps taken consistently will outperform big plans that never leave your head. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start imperfect. Action creates momentum, and momentum changes lives. If you want to win 2026, you have to stop negotiating with procrastination. Stop making deals with delay. Decide that when something matters to you, you move. not next week, not next month. Now, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's inconvenient, even if nobody understands it. Procrastination keeps you dreaming. Action turns dreams into reality. And the difference between the life you want and the life you're living is not luck. It's not talent. It's not background. It's the decisions you make when it's time to act. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the second habit you must remove if you want to win 2026. And that habit is negative self-talk and self-doubt. This one right here is silent, but it's deadly. Nobody else has to stop you when you're already stopping yourself. Nobody has to doubt you when you're doubting yourself. Some of you are losing battles that nobody even knows you're fighting because the fight is happening in your own mind. You wake up every day with a voice in your head, and that voice sets the tone for your life. If the first thing you tell yourself is, I'm not good enough, people like me don't win, then your mind starts building evidence to prove that voice right. Your brain is powerful, but it doesn't know the difference between truth and repetition. Whatever you tell it consistently, it accepts as fact. Many of you learn negative self-talk from your past. Somebody said something to you when you were young, and you never let it go. A teacher told you that you weren't smart enough. A friend told you your dream was unrealistic. A failure embarrassed you so deeply that you let it define you. Now, years later, those voices are still talking, even though the people who spoke them are long gone. You are still living under sentences that were never meant to be life sentences. Self-doubt makes you hesitate when it's time to move. It makes you overthink opportunities. It makes you play small when you were built for more. You second-guess yourself so much that by the time you decide, the opportunity has already moved on to someone else who believed just a little more than you did. Talent without belief will never reach its potential. Let me tell you something powerful. You don't need to be perfect to be confident. You don't need to have all the answers to believe in yourself. Belief is a decision. Confidence is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you show up despite fear, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you rewire your mind for growth. Some of you are too hard on yourselves. You punish yourself for mistakes that were part of your learning. You replay your failures over and over, but you never replay your wins. You never remind yourself of what you survived, what you overcame, what you pushed through, and quitting would have been easier. If you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, you wouldn't have any friends left. Negative self-talk keeps you stuck in the past. It keeps reminding you of what didn't work instead of focusing on what's possible now. But listen to me carefully. Your past explained it does not define you. What happened to you is not who you are. Who you are is who you decide to become next. If you want to win 2026, you have to change the language you use with yourself. Speak life. Speak growth. Speak faith even when you don't feel it yet. Don't wait to feel confident before you act. Act, and confidence will catch up. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more than fear. Let me be real with you. People are going to talk. People are going to doubt. That's life. But when the loudest critic in the room is you, it becomes unbearable. Silence that voice. Replace it. When it says you can't, remind yourself of every time you did. When it says you're not ready, remind yourself that nobody ever is. You were not created to tear yourself down every day. You were created to grow, to evolve, to rise. Winning 2026 starts in your mind. Fix the conversation in your head, and the results in your life will begin to change. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about the third habit that has to go if you want to win 2026, and that is the habit of blaming others and blaming circumstances. This habit will keep you stuck longer than any setback ever could. As long as it's someone else's fault, you stay powerless. The moment you take responsibility, You take control of your life. A lot of people say they want success, but what they really want is for life to be easier. They want better results without tougher decisions. They want change without discomfort. And when things don't work out, they look for someone to point the finger at. The boss didn't see your potential. The system is against you. Your family didn't support you. The timing was wrong. All of that might be true, but none of it will move you forward. Blame feels good for a moment because it protects your ego. It tells you that you're not the problem. But what blame also does is rob you of power. If someone else is responsible for your situation, then someone else also controls your future. Winners don't give that kind of power away. They say, "This is my life, and regardless of how it started, I'm responsible for how it ends." Let me make this clear. Taking responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that went wrong. Some things were unfair. Some things hurt. Some things should never have happened to you. Responsibility means deciding that even though it happened, it will not define the rest of your life. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" And you start asking, "What am I going to do about it?" The moment you take ownership, your mindset changes. You stop waiting to be rescued. You stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for people to understand you. You realize that nobody is coming to save you, and instead of feeling defeated, you feel empowered, because now your progress depends on your effort, not on someone else's approval. Blaming circumstances is another trap. You tell yourself you'll move when conditions are perfect, when you have more money, when you have more time, when life slows down. But conditions are never perfect. There will always be obstacles. There will always be reasons to wait. Successful people move in imperfect conditions. They build while things are messy. They grow while things are uncertain. Look at your life honestly. Every area where you feel stuck, ask yourself a hard question. Where have I been avoiding responsibility? Where have I been waiting on someone else to change? That answer might be uncomfortable, but it's also your way out. When you stop blaming, you start learning. Instead of saying, "This didn't work because of them," you say, "What can I do better next time?" That question alone will change your life. Growth begins when excuses end. Some of you are carrying anger because you feel like life cheated you. I understand that feeling. But anger won't build your future. Bitterness won't open doors. Ownership will. Discipline will. Consistent effort will. If you want to win 2026, decide today that no matter what happens, you will respond with responsibility. You will control what you can control: your mindset, your habits, your effort, your attitude. When you do that, you start being a victim of your circumstances, and you start becoming the author of your story. Your life changes when your excuses run out. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something most people don't like to hear. Motivation will not save you in 2026. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you don't feel like doing anything at all. If your success depends on how you feel, you will stay inconsistent. And inconsistency is the enemy of winning. Discipline is what shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you're tired, bored, frustrated, or uninspired. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline cares about the mission. That's why discipline always beats motivation in the long run. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait to feel excited. They wait to feel confident. But discipline says, do it anyway. Discipline says, show up even when nobody is watching. Discipline says, handle your responsibilities before you chase your feelings. The people who win are not more motivated than you. They are more disciplined. Here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your habits are strong, your results will eventually become strong, even if progress feels slow at first. Discipline is built in the small things you do every day. not the big speeches you give yourself. Discipline means waking up when you don't want to. Discipline means practicing when it's boring. Discipline means staying consistent when results aren't showing yet. Most people quit in the quiet phase, the phase where nothing is happening and nobody is clapping. But that phase is where discipline is built. Motivation loves comfort. Discipline chooses growth. Motivation says, I'll start Monday. Discipline says, I'll start now. Motivation says, I don't feel like it today. Discipline says, feelings are temporary, results are permanent. If you want to win 2026, you have to stop romanticizing motivation and start respecting discipline. Discipline creates structure. Structure creates consistency. Consistency creates results. And results create confidence. Confidence doesn't come first. It comes last. A lot of people say they want success, but their daily routine doesn't support it. You cannot live one way and expect a different outcome. Discipline forces alignment. Your actions start matching your goals. Your schedule starts reflecting your priorities. Your habits start supporting your future instead of sabotaging it. Discipline also means saying no. No to distractions. No to excuses. No to things that feel good now but cost you later. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that matters. Discipline teaches you to protect your time like it's valuable, because it is. Understand this. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It's telling yourself, my future matters more than my comfort. It's choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure. It's choosing consistency over convenience. At first, discipline feels heavy. It feels restrictive. But over time, discipline creates freedom. When you're disciplined with your finances, you gain financial freedom. When you're disciplined with your health, you gain physical freedom. When you're disciplined with your mindset, you gain mental freedom. Discipline gives you options. You don't need discipline in everything. You need discipline in the right things, the things that move your life forward, the things that compound over time. Small disciplined actions repeated daily will outperform big bursts of motivation every single time. Winning 2026 won't come from hype. It will come from habits, from showing up on ordinary days, from doing the work when it's boring, from choosing consistency when quitting feels easier. Discipline is not loud, but it is powerful. And the people who master it always end up ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that quietly steals more time, energy, and opportunities than any other habit. Distraction. Distraction comes in many forms, and most of us don't even realize how much it's controlling our lives. Social media, constant notifications, endless scrolling, pointless debates, unnecessary drama, gossip, random entertainment. These things might feel harmless, but they are silently stealing your focus and robbing you of your results. Every minute spent distracted is a minute not invested in your vision, in your growth, in your future. Distraction is dangerous because it feels good in the moment. It relaxes your mind. It gives you a break. But here's the truth. What feels good now almost always costs you later. Those small escapes add up over weeks, months, and years. A single hour wasted scrolling or worrying about things that don't matter seems small, but multiply that by hundreds of days and suddenly you're 6 months, a year, maybe even a decade behind where you could have been. Focus is a superpower in today's world, and distraction is its greatest enemy. Most people think they're multitasking, but that's a lie. Multitasking is a myth. Every time you think you're handling multiple things, you are actually fragmenting your attention. Your brain is switching back and forth, which reduces your efficiency and increases mistakes. You're not doing more. You're doing worse. True productivity comes from single-minded focus. When you concentrate on one thing, you excel at it. When you spread your attention, you become average at many things and master nothing. Distraction also comes in the form of unnecessary opinions. Everyone has advice, and not all of it is helpful. Some of it is meant to discourage you. Some of it is meant to control you. Some of it is simply irrelevant. But if you let every voice in, you will lose your direction. Protect your mind. Guard your vision. Not every person deserves access to your energy. Not every opinion deserves to be heard. Focus on what moves you forward and tune out what doesn't. Another major source of distraction is fear dressed up as busyness. People fill their lives with activity that feels important but accomplishes nothing. You tell yourself, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm doing something. But in reality, you're avoiding the hard work that really matters. The work that requires focus, courage, and consistency. Busy work keeps you comfortable. Focused work makes you grow. Stop mistaking motion for progress. Distraction also fuels indecision. The more things you let pull at your attention, the harder it becomes to make choices. You overanalyze. You hesitate, you wait for clarity that will never come because your mind is too crowded to see the obvious. Clarity comes through focus, not confusion. When you remove distraction, decisions become easier, priorities become clear, and momentum builds. Winning 2026 requires ruthless focus. You have to decide what matters most and give it your undivided attention. Protect your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Every minute wasted is a minute you'll never get back. Set boundaries with people, with technology, with entertainment, with unnecessary obligations. If it doesn't move you toward your goals, it's costing you more than it's giving you. Distraction is a choice. And so is focus. You can choose to let the world scatter your energy, or you can choose to take control of your attention. Greatness is not achieved by chance. It is achieved by concentration. When you focus deeply on the right things, you begin to compound your efforts. Small, consistent, uninterrupted actions lead to exponential results. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. The challenge is that focus is hard. Focus is lonely. Focus requires saying no when everyone else says yes. Focus demands discipline. But focus is where the magic happens. While others are chasing every shiny object, the focused person is building skill, producing results, and moving closer to their vision every single day. To remove distractions, to reclaim your time, your energy, and your life, it's to decide that 2026 will not be lost to scrolling, gossip, and unnecessary noise. It's to protect your mind and your mission like your success depends on it, because it does. Focus creates clarity. Clarity creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Master distraction, and you master your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about comfort. Comfort is one of the sneakiest enemies of success. It feels safe, it feels easy, and it feels good in the moment, but it slowly kills your potential. Most people think that being comfortable is a sign that they're doing well. They think that if life feels easy, they must be winning. But comfort is a trap. Comfort keeps you from taking the risks necessary to grow. Comfort keeps you in routines that don't challenge you. Comfort keeps you small while your dreams are waiting for you to step up. Choosing comfort over commitment is the habit that makes most people fail to reach their potential. When you choose comfort, you delay hard decisions. You delay tough conversations. You delay building skills. You delay starting the business, leaving the toxic situation, writing a book, or speaking your truth. You tell yourself, I'll do it later, I'll do it when it's easier, I'll do it when I feel ready. But life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Life rewards the brave, the persistent, and the committed. Comfort keeps you waiting while the world passes you by. Comfort is addictive because it feels harmless, but it erodes your ambition. Every time you choose ease over challenge, you are slowly shrinking your capacity for success. The small choices matter more than you realize. One day you skip that workout because it's easier to stay in bed. The next day you scroll social media instead of working on your goal over time. These small acts of choosing comfort over commitment accumulate into a life that is mediocre, not because you lack talent, but because you lack the willingness to endure temporary discomfort for long-term gain. Commitment, on the other hand, is uncomfortable. Commitment requires sacrifice. Commitment requires discipline. Commitment requires showing up when you don't feel like it, staying consistent when results aren't visible, and pushing through fear when quitting would be easier. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone. Success does not happen where it feels safe. Greatness happens when you choose commitment over ease, when you prioritize long-term vision over short-term pleasure. Many people confuse comfort with stability. They think that staying in a familiar job, relationship, or routine is safe. But true stability comes from being prepared for change, from building resilience, from expanding your skills and abilities. Comfort creates false security. Commitment builds real security. If you want to win 2026, you must embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. You must be willing to trade the short-term pleasure of comfort for the long-term satisfaction of achievement. The problem with comfort is that it feels good now but costs you later. The life you dream of does not exist inside your comfort zone. The business, the health, the financial freedom, the relationships, the influence you want, none of it will come to you while you're choosing ease over effort. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you face fear, every time you do what others are unwilling to do, you expand your capacity for success. Choosing commitment over comfort also strengthens your character. Discipline and resilience are not developed when life is easy. They are developed when you face difficulty and push through anyway. Comfort robs you of these qualities. Commitment builds them. The person who consistently chooses commitment is the person who will be unshakable in the face of challenges. They will not be deterred by obstacles or setbacks. They will keep moving forward because their habits and mindset are stronger than any temporary discomfort. Let me be clear. Success is never convenient. Success is never comfortable. It is never effortless. Anything worth achieving requires consistent action, courage, and the willingness to endure pain in the short term for gain in the long term. When you remove the habit of choosing comfort and embrace the habit of choosing commitment, you are deciding to live deliberately. You are deciding that your dreams are bigger than your excuses. You are deciding that 2026 will be a year of results, not regrets. Every choice matters. Every day matters. Every decision to push through discomfort compounds over time into the life you want. If you are unwilling to leave comfort behind, you will remain where you are. But if you choose commitment, if you choose the hard path, if you decide that temporary pain is better than lifelong regret, you will grow into the person you need to be to win. Discomfort is temporary, but the results it produces are permanent. Master this habit, and you master your future.